So let's begin. Kentucky ranks 36th among the states in the Annie E. Casey Foundation's newest report on child well-being. It's a slight improvement from 38th last year. However, the state still reports more than 200,000 children below the poverty line. In education, there was also concerning metrics with declines in every single category. However, the ranking was ultimately higher than last year because several states had worse declines.
We still have a lot of work to do when it comes to improving economic stability, student achievement, and then child health and safety.
Kentucky Youth Advocate's Chief Policy and Strategy Officer Shan Moody says the most concerning metric is a 28% rise in child and teen deaths from the last report, which she says is most likely influenced by access to prescription drugs, firearms, as well as mental health support. So Representative Bray, I want to start here with you. Just generally, whenever lawmakers see these kinds of reports, I know there's several different ones that kind of come out during the year. This one is one of the more significant ones. How does that more contribute to what y'all do in 2026?
I mean, obviously, we want to make sure our kids are healthy, that they're learning, that we provide good policies that enable family growth, enable healthy childhoods, enable good education. And, you know, part of this is a reflection on those policies, but there's a lot of really concerning data in there as well. When we look at education metrics particularly, you know, we've provided records amount of funding even when adjusted for inflation. We're not really seeing the returns that we would expect on that. You know, statewide, when you look at proficiency in reading and math, numbers aren't really where you would like to see them. One of the best things we did as a parent is if you go to your school's website, you know, whether it's the particular school or the Board of Education's website, you can see what each district, how they score, what each school scores for proficiency in reading, math, and it's kind of eye-opening. It's let me personally know that, you know, in Frankfort we've got a lot more work to do.
Representative Camuel, what's the most concerning statistic to you in that report?
There are several that are really concerning, but I think it's the high number of students that are experiencing poverty and chronic absenteeism, and I think that there are a lot of reasons that we're seeing more absenteeism. You know, what we know is a child who's hungry can't learn. A child who doesn't have a home is not going to be as successful in school. And I also think that the results of this particular study this year really kind of highlight the need for Governor Beshear's new initiative, Pre-K for All. Exactly 2/3 of all Kentucky 3 and 4-year-olds are not attending preschool. And that is one of the primary ways that we can really prepare kids and help them get a step up, a step ahead before entering kindergarten. So I think that there are things that we can do, and I think every legislator sitting in Frankfort, what we want is our kids to be successful in their education.
Since you bring up the universal pre-K proposal, how much of that will be part of the conversation as we go into 2026, that also being a budget year, do y'all expect?
I was going to say, for me, that's always, Pre-K for All has always been an important piece of my personal platform, but I think that it's a conversation that we're going to have in Frankfort to figure out what it is that we do in order to make sure that we are not falling further behind. But I'll toot the horn of Fayette County while I'm sitting here and say 2 of our high schools, we're doing something right here because we've got Dunbar and Lafayette that were in the top 5 high schools in the state. So it's not all doom and gloom, but there are things we've got to do to make sure that we are taking care of our kids.
What are your thoughts there?
Listen, as far as pre-K goes, I've not seen a plan on that. We can't have these conversations through press conferences. If the governor wants to reach out and provide an actual plan on how, you know, his solution isn't just throwing more money at a problem, I'd love to hear it. When we look at how we fund schools, you know, we've increased funding every year. Like I said earlier, we've not seen those returns. I think we need to focus on the core areas, right? Reading, arithmetic, writing, and science. We need to focus on that, see improvement before we start expanding programs, because until we do exactly what needs to be done in those core areas, until we see those improvements, I don't know how you continue to just invest money without seeing some kind of return.
We got a minute left here or so. Pulling away from education and at least talking about some of the poverty statistics there, the expert I spoke to with the Kentucky Youth Advocates proposed something perhaps like tax credits could help some of these families that are struggling, and also brought up some of the safe storage proposals when it comes to our death rates. Any thoughts from y'all on any of those proposals?
I haven't seen those proposals personally, but as far as increased death rates, we still need additional mental health supports and funding for to be able to provide mental health services to students. And I'm a big proponent as well of safer communities, and it's common sense. It's smart stuff. Like if there's a tax credit for gun safes, if we can do gun safety training programs, anything that we can do to make sure that people understand how dangerous and how permanent the impact of gun violence can be and how devastating it is to families.
Last word on this, Representative Bray.
As far as tax credits go, I mean, we continue to march towards zero income tax throughout the Commonwealth. I think that the lower the burden our citizens face, tax burden they face, the better everybody else will do.